Okay, why is nobody talking about this super common side effect from weight loss? Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome back to Abby's Kitchen. Today we're going to be looking at influencer Samantha Jo's experience with losing 70 pounds on the weight loss drug Zepbound. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into the reality of weight loss. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But before we get started, don't forget to check out my description for my free Hunger Crushing Combo ebook and Protein 101 handouts for some no BS nutrition tips. And of course, a link to my new 2-in-1 protein probiotic, New Theory. Also, keep in mind that we will be discussing weight loss drugs, side effects, and weight stigma. So please, let's keep the comments kind. Today's video is sponsored by my life savior, Hom Glow. So we are like in the thick of soccer season, which means a lot of muddy shoes and very sweaty clothes get dredged through my door every day. Summers also happen to be like the most chaotic and busy time of year because kids aren't in school. I have all these like family trips to plan, and the weekends are just insanely slammed. I don't know, between weddings and parties and birthdays and oh my gosh, it's a lot. But I basically learned that the only way to not completely burn out is to ask for help. And Hom Glow has been an essential tool in my life toolbox. I've talked about this before, but if you guys haven't heard, Hom Glow is a 5-star cleaning service with super affordable prices, like way cheaper than most cleaning services that we've paid for in the past. But the way it works is you go to Hom Glow's website to choose the time and day that you're looking for a cleaning and the duration of your cleaning as well. And you'll see all the available cleaners along with their background checks, photos, and reviews. So if you've got someone that you've worked with before, you can rebook that same person and you can schedule it for like that week or for a month from now if you want to rebook your cleanings on a regular basis. You can also sign up for their Forever Clean membership, which saves you $30 an hour on all future cleanings or unlimited cleanings for $19 an hour, all of which are backed up by their happiness guarantee. Another thing that I really love is that 100% of the cleaning fees and tips go directly to the employees. So they are extra incentivized to do a really great job. Now, Hom Glow is only available in the United States. So whenever we're down there, we just feel so relieved knowing that I can rely on this service to take a huge task off my plate. So if you're looking to take home cleaning off your plate, head to homoglow.com/Abbey Sharp or scan the QR code to get your first 3 months of cleaning for only $19. Okay, so super little quick background here. So Samantha has talked a lot about her struggles with binge eating and weight cycling. And before losing the weight on Zepbound, she was hovering around 300 pounds. Now, I have shared my take on weight loss drugs like Zepbound and the more popular Ozempic and Mounjaro in this video. But to briefly recap, Zepbound works by lowering blood sugars and mimicking naturally occurring hormones that help make you feel full. And of course, since you feel less hungry, you eat less and you lose weight. And in Samantha's case, it actually can be quite a lot of weight. So as you guys know, I don't push weight loss drugs like Ozempic or Zepbound, and I am very concerned about their misuse, but I'm also not against them for 2 very important reasons. One, I don't believe in censoring science, and there is a lot of research to show that weight loss for some people can help to improve a number of health markers. So things like lipid profiles, insulin sensitivity, inflammatory markers, and endothelial function, all of which can decrease your long-term risk of chronic disease. And second, I believe in body autonomy and in meeting people where they are. And for some people, weight loss is both desired for whatever reason that is not our business and or very likely to improve their quality of life. These choices are ultimately between the individual and their healthcare team. It's really not for us to lay judgment on. And for Sam, for example, the decision to start weight loss drugs might have stemmed from experiences like this.
I felt like I was suffocating in my body. I don't know how to explain to you how uncomfortable I was every day. I had no energy. I was being so mean to myself because of how I was treating my body. I am not in a place where if I wanted to start a family, I could. Because I've never been delusional about the fact that I could quite literally die because I'm obese. But I've never lied to myself about that, and I think people think it's a touchy subject, and for some people maybe it is, but for me it's not.
What I'm hearing here is physical discomfort, fear of not having a full life, which in Sam's case includes motherhood, and a fear of death. Like, I don't care how invested you may be in like the body positivity movement, you cannot argue that those are absolutely valid reasons for somebody wanting to change their body. But that wasn't all of Sam's hopes for starting on these drugs. Another very valid and common reason for trialing a GLP-1 agonist like this versus just going on another diet is to reduce what we've basically collectively called food noise. Now, there's no consensus definition for food noise, but what Samantha describes is really on par with the experiences of many others who have found success on GLP agonists, including my friend and colleague Ginger. Take a listen.
My entire adult life and maybe a chunk of my teen years, my world has revolved around food, but I woke up, thought about food. As I was thinking about my breakfast, I was thinking about my lunch and my dinner, and every moment of the day was taken up by food.
So food noise is generally regarded as the constant thoughts or reoccurring ruminations about food that ultimately can contribute to overeating and obesity. Obviously, thinking about eating when you're hungry is important and normal, but when it displaces other important thoughts, as we are often seeing specifically in folks with obesity who have not had success on diets in the past, it obviously severely impacts quality of life. Research in this area is still mounting, but we do know that the brain reward pathways are neurologically stronger and amplified in some larger bodied folks. It's also thought that excessive food noise may be related to a disconnect in the communication between the brain-gut axis. So this might be due to differences in the gut microbiome as we discussed in this video, but things like excess stress and poor sleep, metabolic syndrome and PCOS, genetics, and certain medications like antidepressants and antipsychotics may also contribute to the imbalance. Now, I'm not Samantha's therapist, obviously, but in this video, she does describe experiencing childhood trauma, which not only is a severe form of stress, but is also being shown to increase the risk of disordered eating. We as humans are just innately designed to seek comfort from triggering experiences. And from the early days of like a babe on the boob, food is really one of our earliest forms of comfort. So eating for comfort is absolutely normal. I don't want people to think that it's not. But when it becomes the only tool in the toolbox, it can quickly escalate to that incessant food noise. So one of the unexpected potential benefits of weight loss drugs like these is in quieting that food noise, largely by improving satiety, making people feel less enamored by food, and by affecting dopamine pathways that make food feel rewarding. And this isn't just about the weight loss. Quieting food noise may open up space in your life and your brain to focus on other acts of self-care like healing from trauma.
I'm really focusing on healing my relationship with food and just healing my brain and my mind. And that's been so much easier since not having the food noise. I had no idea how quiet your mind could be without the food noise. That's one of the biggest things this medicine has fixed for me and has freed me from is food noise.
This is all great. Like, this is huge. And in many ways, so much more important than the immediate weight loss, because when your mental health is in a better place, your weight is just more likely to be able to fall into its happiest, healthiest place. But here's the big question. Can you practice intuitive eating while on weight loss medications? Well, buckle up, because this could be controversial.
This medicine is helping me learn how to intuitively eat, because I've always known that I'm not going to be someone who can follow a diet for the rest of my life. Like, that isn't realistic. I want to get to a point where I want to make healthier choices, but I don't feel guilty wanting pizza. Like, I don't feel guilty eating, in quotes, bad foods, because I'm eating them in moderation. That's not my diet 24/7.
I love this goal. Like, ultimately, intuitive eating as it was originally intended is not a weight loss diet. In fact, it's more accurately described as anti-diet culture. So can taking weight loss meds coincide with the principles of intuitive eating? If you ask me, I would say that the answer is not black and white. Like, on the one hand, we know these weight loss medications can improve the long-term physical and clearly mental health of many individuals when used appropriately. But we've also seen rumors of already slim celebrities abusing Ozempic to help them lose weight fast, perpetuating dangerous body image ideals and feeding into diet culture. I do think that correcting that food noise may be a very important first step for a lot of people in starting to kind of experience more normal hunger and fullness signals, while also approaching food without judgment or shame. So while a drug like this does run the risk of co-opting the original intuitive eating framework, I do believe that we can take from the 10 principles of intuitive eating what works for us at different times in our lives. Ultimately, whether or not Ozempic can fit into one's intuitive eating, or perhaps more accurately, food freedom journey, comes down to intention and outcome on quality of life. And that is really only something that each individual can determine. But from what we've seen here, the results that have nothing to do with weight loss have been nothing short of amazing.
Overall, I just have way more energy. I don't crash. Before, I would get headaches every time I would eat. I would crash severely, which, being pre-diabetic, that was probably my blood sugar. For the most part, I have way more stable energy throughout the day now.
This is amazing to hear. And it totally makes sense, since the active ingredient in Zepbound, tirzepatide, is a GLP-1 and GIP agonist, which increases insulin secretion. This then lowers our blood sugar levels, improves insulin resistance, and stabilizes blood sugar and energy levels over time.
My periods have become much more regular, almost to the date, which I have not had since high school. But one of the main reasons I wanted to lose weight was because of my PCOS. If I see myself starting a family in the next couple years, well, in a couple of years, I want my body to be in a place that it can have a baby.
Okay, so this is super interesting stuff, and it really deserves a whole other video. But there has been a lot of recent talk about weight loss drugs and improved fertility. It is possible that there are some potential interactions of these drugs with oral contraception due to the effect that it has on like hormone absorption in your GI tract. But the more likely player in Samantha's situation is how PCOS symptoms are affected by weight loss and better blood sugar management. I got a whole video coming up about PCOS and weight loss, so definitely stay tuned for that. But in short, weight gain and PCOS symptoms are a bit of like a chicken and the egg situation. Basically, PCOS increases androgen hormones like testosterone, which can then increase insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can increase fat storage and make weight loss a lot more difficult. But then on the flip side, having excess body fat, especially that visceral belly fat, can interfere with insulin signaling, which then worsens insulin resistance. It is a vicious cycle that needs to be nipped in the bud. And a drug like Ozempic or Zepbound may help do just that, since research does suggest that fat loss may help to improve ovulation, likely by reducing inflammation and androgen hormones and improving insulin sensitivity and the reproductive hormone signaling. So if Zepbound helps improve ovulation and cycle regularity, it may also increase the chances of pregnancy in the future for somebody like Sam. And as an infertility mom myself, I feel like this would be a major perk of the drug. But also, as somebody with thin privilege, there are just so many other experiences that I take for granted that Sam's weight loss may make possible for her.
Another little thing that has just brought my mind so much peace for some reason is a lot of weight limits for things like parasailing, skydiving, I wouldn't do either of those, is 250 pounds. Just knowing that there were certain things I couldn't do because of my weight just is not a great feeling. Now that I'm under 250 pounds, like I know the number does not matter, I wanna keep reiterating, but now that I'm under that, I have so much more peace knowing that if someone were to invite me to do something, I could say yes.
You know, the world is obviously built for thin people, right? From seatbelts and airplane seats to skydiving and like amusement parks. There are so many activities that are restricted for folks in larger bodies. And obviously, this is a social problem. This is not an individual problem. And we do need to be better at building more size-inclusive experiences. But obviously, that's not an overnight fix. And for now, I just imagine that it must feel like the whole world has opened up to Sam now that she's at a lower body weight, including a world that is a hell of a lot more kind.
People are starting to be nicer to me. I'm getting treated different. I don't think we should be treating people differently based on their weight, and to start to see the difference in the way people talk about me, leave comments about me. Also get way less hate comments from men. My engagement on Instagram has skyrocketed. I think it just shows that society favors thin people.
When you lose weight, one unfortunate reality is that people are just generally gonna treat you better. Like, healthcare is a big example here, where one study showed that doctors generally labeled overweight or obese patients as a bigger waste of time compared to their thin patients. Ditto for the workplace and basically everyone else in your life. And at first, this might seem like a perk to someone who's just lost a lot of weight, but recalling your past treatment under the social assumption that, you're lazy or incompetent or non-compliant, I can just imagine the fear and anxiety that one would have over what would happen if you were to gain that weight back. Like respect, work opportunities, relationships, all of that could be taken away just as easily as they were granted. Like, it's crippling. Not to mention, research has shown that the stress associated with weight stigma often decreases the likelihood of long-term weight loss, while it increases the risk of depression, disordered eating, and other mental health issues. If people really cared about fat people's health, they would be kind and empathetic regardless of their size, knowing that perpetuating the stigma would actually make things worse. I have never lived in a larger body, and therefore I really can't identify with any of the hardships that Sam has just described, outside of the infertility and the painful desire to want to be a mom and not know if that was going to happen. But I hear stories like Sam's all the time. And while a lot of people, particularly already thin people, are very quick to judge others for using a weight loss drug as like an easy way out, this attitude just reinforces a cycle of shame and an assumption that no matter what they try or do, they will not be enough. So here's just another quick reminder, please be kind, guys. In the comments for sure, but also in the real world. You don't know someone's story, and you also don't know the potential harm a seemingly innocent comment can do. And on that note, definitely make sure you're subscribed for more content like this, and leave some love for Samantha in the comments. And I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.